Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Allianz Joy on this beautiful Saturday. A Saturday for me. Maybe you were watching this at another hour, at another time, on another day. But today is a beautiful day here where I am, and I want to share some tips with you today on procrastination. One of those wonderful things that we do, and one of those wonderful things that are not really good for our mental state of mind. Today is a great show. We're just doing some tips and tricks, things that you can take home. Like I usually like to give you a few ideas on a certain topic that are very efficient and very applicable, right? We got to go kind of work with it and be able that we get or see results from the things we do. And that's what I like. I like it simple, I like it effective, and I like great results. My name is Eliane Haan. I am a life coach and wellness coach and have been doing this for a long time, helping people get physically well and healthy and also emotionally and mentally in a better state of mind. I always call that sharing the joy, right? And sharing is caring. And today we're going to talk a little bit about one of these amazing things that we do that are not so good for you. Procrastination is actually sort of a trigger, right? It just really sets us into a mode of negative thinking, and it sets us also in a place where we are starting to uh, have problems with our self-esteem. If we are constantly pushing things off and we are not able to get organized, then we're kind of getting more and more into a state of mess. And a state of mess is not where we need to be. And that it starts actually a little bit with just daily habits. If you are thinking about daily habits, as making your bed, just small things, cleaning up after yourself, doing the dishes, put your clothes away, get your laundry folded. That kind of stuff really, really helps not procrastinating the bigger things in life that you need to do. So I'm going to help you a little bit with that with some tips and tricks today. I do that a lot with my clients because it really starts at the basics. So I really always say, like, well, let's see what your daily habits are and what you do with that. And if that is already a little bit in place, but you're still kind of having trouble, it might be career wise, it might be things that you want to do for the kids, for your husband. It might be things that you want to do job wise, or even fitness wise, or family wise, but you're constantly putting it off. Maybe it's even for yourself. That should come first, because if you're in a good place, then everybody else is. Right. So if you are in that modus of procrastination, work with me here a little bit. We're always going to say, let's start with the basics. And like I just said, it's really, really important that you get somewhat of a schedule, right? We always say that with the kids as well. It's very good for them to have a tempo, a rhythm, the same things going on every day. That sets us into a base of life, into the basics of life. But it's not always the case that we are cleaning up after ourselves or that we are putting everything away. And for that matter, you might be looking for 2 hours for your car keys or for your scissors. And it's a waste of your time, because that time could have been used to planning and goal setting, right? For the things that you really have to do or that are on your wish list or want list. If you are that kind of person, then we really have to start at a little list of organizing daily things, daily duties. That's very important. Once you get that out of the way and you establish a little bit more of a rhythm, a pattern, a routine is very important because it makes way for other things. Um, I have always been kind of a routine person in the daily things, so that I get up, I do the same things, I wash, and then I clean my face and brush my teeth and take a shower. I have a cup of coffee, right? Just do your kind of like daily quiet time for a little bit. Once you get done getting dressed, make my bed, because it is one of the tiny little things that we can be grateful for when it looks nice around you. You can also be grateful for that. It just sets you into a good place or being able to start the day with. And if you do so, then it feels calmer, it feels less disorganized. Now, this is not for everybody. It's really sometimes in your system to be a little bit messy, or you might be one of those personalities that just, tells yourself, hey, I'll pick it up tomorrow and I'll just leave that laundry where it is right now. But sometimes tomorrow becomes the day after and the day after. And that sets us more and more into a pattern of procrastination. But not just that, that procrastination leads to being mad at self and a little bit less self-esteem and a little bit less awareness and a little bit more negative thinking, like, I didn't get it done. Right? And that might really lead to behavior that becomes a trigger, right, for a lot of other things. So we don't want to do that, because you might roll into a negative spiral there, and that is what we don't want to do. Let's say that from there on, let's say you have organized a little bit in your daily life. We really have to find out on our to-do list. Now we have a to-do list. What is the most important thing that we want to complete? And why is that enjoyable or not enjoyable? If it's not enjoyable, then you know it wasn't your to-do list for a long time, and that's why you keep putting it off. If it's fairly enjoyable, just give it a little score, right? Is it a 1? Is it a 5? Is it a 10? If you give it a little score, then between 3 or 4 things that are really priority, we can even more prioritize what is really difficult. We're going to do that first. And if if you have the 1, we're going to do that first because you don't like it. Or maybe you like it, but it's just a lot of work. So you scored it with a 1 or a 2 because it's a big thing. Then let's get that big thing out of the way first. And then maybe 2 others that are very doable. So as a coach, I look at the second thing. Are even things approachable in your daily life? Is it realistic, right? Can you actually do it in the time frame that you have this week? Does it leave some time for yourself and for the family? Does it leave some time to do the things that you already need to do? So we have to make it fairly approachable. If it wants to be effective, we have to be able to do it. We have to be able to put it in there. And we have to establish what the benefits are for you. If you feel good getting something done, then from that point, you feel way more accomplished. And it is really good for a little bit of a self-esteem boost to get things accomplished, because then you can just really say, hey, it's off my list, right? So let's find out what the benefits are doing this specific task, how much you do like it, but is it really a heavy weight or is it really a lighter weight task? And what will happen to you, we have to find out. And sometimes I have to have you write this down. What happens to you when you really complete this task? Like when I published a book, finally, when I launched my book, it was such a big accomplishment. What happened to me? I was elated. I was besides myself. I was so happy. I was so excited. I had so much enthusiasm for the fact that what I wanted to do for such a long time finally came to fruition. And it was just work. It was just work. I had to do the work for it. But what were the benefits for me? Hopefully, a certain form of income, right? Hopefully, joy, because people pass it on and enjoy it and enjoy the message in the book. Hopefully, it will change somebody's life. There might be 1 or 2 people that say, hey, I didn't think about it that way. So if you feel that that is something that is really a big thing for you because it's really going to change a few things, let's get it done. It might be career-wise, it might be even family, it might be your religion, your spirituality corner, right? You might have to take some steps into completion. And what is this task? If you do that, what does it mean for somebody else? Let's establish that too for a minute. Is it good for you? But is it also good for your family around you? Is it good for the people that work for you or with you, your co-workers? Is it good for your boss only, but not for you? We have to kind of like establish those things with an outcome to set and to find out what we can really put into a certain time frame and how effective, how productive is it and for you. So when we are going into task and goal setting, we are doing that together. I do it as a coach with you, but it's really important to break it all down. Sometimes my clients say, wow, that's almost a little bit childish, right? Do I really have to break it down this way? And I always say yes, because if you break it down all the way to the beginning of your learning patterns, it will stick with you more. Repetition makes key is key also, right? It will just stick with you more to repeat the baby steps and to find out where maybe the kink in the cable was or where you were stuck. So even this we can find out, going back all the way to what is it? How heavyweight is it? Is it easy? Is it complicated? Do I like it? Do I not like it? How many steps do I need to take to get there? What is happening to me and what is the outcome for me if I do this? If I accomplish this goal, and if I do not procrastinate anymore, right? It's a difficult word. And what is it for somebody else? What does it mean? When I completed my book and when I was able to launch my book, it meant for my family that I was available to them and I was not always stuck in my computer writing and finding out about things that I needed to know regarding that part of work, right? So when you are just available again, then that's good for your family too. If you're gonna get some things done and it lifts your self-esteem, that is good for everybody around you. So we are going to break it down always, and I just spent a little time on that with you if I'm coaching to kind of see where you're at. And if it's constantly one of those feelings like, yeah, I don't really want to do it, I've been doing this for a long time, just kind of putting it off. I need to get it done. Why do you need to get it done? What does it mean in your life? What is it? So we have to find out what it is and why it is so important for you. Sometimes, a lot of times with career change, I work with people that say, well, I really want to have another job. I really want to go into even a completely different direction. I don't want to do this job anymore. Last week, I had a client that said, I just don't want to be in that position anymore. I'm going back to my job and I know I have to do it. It's even a good income. I even like the outcome of it in the sense of financial living and having my lifestyle. But it just doesn't move me. It's not passion. It's not my purpose. I just don't do it with the intent. And that are those three big words that I used with her to say, we got to find out what you're passionate about so you can do it with intent, because you know that it's your purpose. You know that it is your purpose. If you find out that you can really be yay and crazy about something, that you really want to share that with the world, you really want to do that for yourself, you really want to get up for it. That's what it really comes down to. You really want to get up every day to do that. And so if we're getting to that moment of finding out what it is that drives you, and that's another show, right? How to get to that point. But I'm finding out with her what drives her to find a new direction in life. And it doesn't mean that that whole thing now is out of the window, because she might need a certain form of income for a while, but we can slowly find out through courses, through Google, through short and long-term schooling and education, through reading, through taking a class at night, to going out, maybe shadowing somebody in a job that you would love, that isn't a job that you would love to pursue. Then that way we can slowly roll over your career into something else without that abrupt of bye-bye, not going to do it anymore. And then come into that situation that I was in the past. Sometimes I would walk out and very, very not be happy. I would not be happy and very much just walk out. But then I would sit there like, now what? And I don't think there was Google. I don't even know there was Google, right? So you recognize that sense of feeling hopeless, you don't want to go there. That's a whole other emotion that might trigger whatnot, right? You don't want to go to that place because that is just concern and worry and adding on to anxiety. So let's find out a few things that I can help you with, maybe that might be just short tips to say, I'm going to stop procrastinating right now. And not another to-do list. Don't make another to-do list of that to-do list. Let's just break it down and stop procrastinating. So get organized, right? Write it down and write down to what level of extent it is very important or a little less important for you. Or maybe it's a time thing. Maybe something is due, right, by the end of the week. Maybe you have to do it this month. Or maybe it is cleaning out my closet and reorganizing it for the winter. That can wait, but it's still a project that I want to do. It's still there. And I don't want to really procrastinate, but I can do it last because it's still warm weather around me. So I don't need really to bring those cardies out yet, right? The second thing that is really important once you start to get organized, number 2 is just eliminate all the distractions around you. You do really want to have all those fun things around you of television or news or magazines or the kids even, right? You need to have that small time of focus so that you can sit on the computer, you can work, or you can write resumes, or you can start doing some studies. You have to have that time to focus on getting the task accomplished. We have to focus on that. We have to get rid of all the fun. So procrastination, no more, but one thing at a time. So get focused and try to see if you can bring it all together to that certain moment. And then number 3, like I already said, we need to prioritize the things, the closet, cleaning the house on the bottom, looking for that new job, or trying to find out when the due date is on some project. That's most important. So that needs to go to the top of your list. And then find out how much time that cost, so that you can accordingly plan in your schedule this week if you're going to have to work a lot on that or not. That doesn't matter, because if you need to put 4 or 6 more hours in this week to get it done, you will feel so amazingly accomplished, and then you can take it a little bit easier afterwards, right? So sometimes time just calls for lots of work and getting it done. And then from there on, number 4, once you have done the organizing thing, you have gotten rid of the distractions, you do prioritize your list, then we're going to set goals. How do we get there? Again, step by step, one little step at a time. It just comes back to finding that place during the day to where you can prioritize your time to be able to do this at the moment, because it's very important without distractions. Goal setting is so important, and so many times we don't do that. Goal setting just leads up to that bigger thing, right? Setting some action plans, having a mission or a vision. But we have to be able to manage ourselves a little bit. And that's what I mean with that goal setting. If you set some goals and you manage your own time, you manage yourself, you become your own boss. That is very important. And even if there's no deadlines for it, set a deadline for yourself. So let's go say that you have to get this project done by Friday, because you know that if you have done your, let's say, bookkeeping and your taxes by Friday, then you have the whole weekend off. You don't have to worry about it. And part of the fact that we are procrastinating and putting off the things that we need to do is causing us anxiety. The fact that we do that causes us that anxiety. It's a big trigger for anxiety. It's a big trigger for just getting mad at ourselves and just not liking ourselves and just rolling and spiraling into negative thinking. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to go there. So set some deadlines. Let's say that we have to get it done by Tuesday or by Wednesday. But remember, including the time at work, with the family, You have to cook. You might have to get some groceries. So is it realistic that you're putting the extra hours in to get this goal done? Very important. So that was number 5. We did set some deadlines. And then at number 6, we're going to take a break and we're going to say, hey, I'm going to get it done, but I want to do it from a place of really a relaxed state of mind. So if you're feeling very, very stressed out about it, and just now you are your own manager, you are your own boss, you're putting in all the time, you have set the deadline, but it doesn't make you feel good and it makes you throw up almost because you're so stressed out about it, don't do it, right? Then take a break, sit back, analyze the situation, and go back in again. That's very important that we can do that. You have to take a break once in a while from that big task ahead so that you can be a little bit easier on yourself. You can be a little bit, you can take some downtime, right? It needs to be in there. It needs to be in there. So it is a little bit weird. On one way, I say, oh, get it done, set a goal, let's go after it. On the other hand, I will say, take your time and take a break sometimes, because if you feel that moment of stress that leads to anxiety, then that will lead to more procrastination. Because then we have a tendency as human beings to say, well, I'm not going to do it at all. Forget about it. I'm not going to do it at all. And that is not a good place to be. So we don't want to do that. We just want to kind of keep into that very approachable, very realistic, nice, calm task setting, right? Goal setting. And then if it's done, you have got to reward yourself. You have to reward yourself. It is so important that you are rewarding yourself. Ice cream, the healing powers of ice cream or chocolate. Something nice. Maybe a little time off, maybe a date, maybe time out with the family, maybe some fun trip, maybe a shopping spree, anything that you feel really good about, instead of straight going into the next thing. That is not very healthy either. So we're going to have that downtime even during or after, just to reward ourselves and to be able to pick up the next best thing. Does that make sense? It's just like, oh, yes, now it feels so good. I feel so accomplished. I did it. And now tomorrow, I'm just going to take the day off. I'm good at that because I have a lot of stuff going on. So I need to do that. I have a lot of different jobs and a lot of different tasks and things going on. So if I don't do that, if I don't say to myself, this week was great, I had a book signing this week, I had a podcast this week, I did my show, and I did a webinar. Busy week, very busy week. So it was very organized, planning up to it and prioritizing and getting the things out of the way that I needed to do to plan and prepare for all these missions and all these tasks. But I did them in small little steps that were very approachable. And then every time afterwards, I took a break, and now it's weekend. And now tomorrow is that big break. I'm just going to sit down and relax. Tomorrow is the big break. Just that one day that you can say, nothing, right? And sometimes it's difficult not to go on emails and not to go, again and get involved and all that stuff. But sometimes it's good to just to sit back and lay back and enjoy the day of the Lord. So that is such a nice time for yourself. And whatever that is, you might visit somebody, or you might go on that little shopping spree, or you might just go visit, with your loved ones. Like I said, just do fun things. Do fun things with the kids. Do fun things that make you happy. Because you are accomplished. And like I said, so many times we just forget to look behind us and look at the things that we already have accomplished. And if you're able to do that, then life looks a lot better. Because you're able to reward yourself. You're able to see that you are worthy. You're able to see that you can get a lot of stuff done, and that you have accomplished a lot of things in the past. And that includes change of work, that includes change in life, that includes relationships. You know, but it was an accomplishment that you got through it, even if it was difficult. So today we're talking about stop procrastinating. And let's go one more time over all these things. Number one, get organized. Number two, eliminate distractions. Number three, prioritize the things that are more important than the other things. And then set little approachable mini goals that are realistic for you, considering the time that you already have to do other things, right? Number five, set a deadline. Just for yourself. Again, it has to be realistic. It has to be true. It has to be possible in the time that you have. And then, where was I? Number six, you're going to take a break once in a while. Even if it's very stressful because you have to get it done and you put a due date on it. Breathe and relax. Even sometimes 10 deep breaths in the middle of the day can be very, very healing. And then, of course, afterwards, reward yourself for the accomplishments of the things that you have done, the things that you got done. Be your own boss. Hold yourself accountable. Number 8 today. And I started with it sort of, right? Be your own boss. What would you do for somebody else if you would manage them? You would help them set a schedule to set certain tasks and make sure that they are approachable and they're possible, and then put a due date on it. If you're a good boss. Another day. But, and that's a joke, right? Because if you were a boss, of course, you were fabulous. That's exactly the things that you would consider. Maybe you're a little bit of a messy personality. That's fine, but we can work with that. We can work with that. In an attitude of gratitude every day, to start doing the same things that are already included in your day, right? Getting up, getting ready for the day, shower, clothes, things that you do, make that all the same so that you can get used to doing the things in a certain way and in a certain manner. I am your life coach and your wellness coach, Eliane Haan. You can find me on elianehaan.com. I hope you enjoyed today's show because you got some tips and some tricks and some tools to get through life. And I truly hope that that you will give me some feedback if you understand it, if it makes sense, if you have questions, of course. And if you're looking for a coach, let me know. You can find me on www.elianehaan.com and let me know, reach out, and then I'll see you on the other side. Thank you. Thank you for watching Eliane's Joy, with lots of joy and lots of love. I appreciate you. See you next week.